If you want to talk about Division III basketball, you've logged on to the right place.
Welcome to the big show.
Whereas on the men's side, I think they overloaded two of the brackets, and as a result, I think we're not going to get a good Final Four in the sense of who everyone really would like to see there.
The system is a mess, guys, but I think that's neither here nor there. And
the next 3 hours, we'll cover it all.
We don't have the time to move pieces because conferences are playing their title games on Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock, for God's sake.
I'll tell you what, I'll support them. You guys are going to get to the Sweet 16 and get annihilated by Stevens Point.
With regional reports.
We've talked a lot about the fact on the men's side that there's not a lot of dominant teams, and the flip side of that is that you have a lot of parity. It makes the conference races exciting.
And interviews with coaches.
Hey, it's great to be on Hoopsville. I tell you, it's that time of the year.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks for having me. Thank you very much for having me.
This D3 basketball is the greatest. The players, they play because they love it. They're fun. The teams are playing. You go to these other campuses. It's where it's at.
And we knew that the ODAC competition was going to be very tough. We knew that each coach had done their job with recruiting. And there were so many young teams that we just knew that each and every night when we played an ODAC contest that we had our work cut out for us.
We'll talk about who's on top.
And the CCRW is much like the Wisconsin League, the WIAC, in that, I mean, really, it's a cliche, but it's true. On any night, anyone can beat you.
Those surprises.
Every game counts, especially
play
the
your
regional
seasons.
games. Yeah.
Don't lose to a bad team.
Well, and don't lose your conference tournament.
And who's making news in Division III.
We got an awful tough league, and we have some tough games this week, but we're still tied for first place in our league in the loss column.
And as you point out, they're not a reliable team in the NCAA tournament. They've proven it year in and year out that you can't count.
You can even join in and chat with us.
I mean, this lower right-hand bracket is loaded.
This bracket is ridiculous. I mean, you could take a final. This could be a Final Four bracket.
You want to play that Thursday game because you have not won an NCAA tournament game. You got to go out there and show yourselves that you can actually do it.
So sit back and relax, and let's talk D3 hoops.
We talked before about Hope Calvin being far and away the number one rivalry in Division III basketball. You can't dispute it.
I think the WIAC always deserves 2 teams in the poll for sure, and probably 3.
Well, one, I think they got the easiest run to a possible Final Four. They don't have a lot of challenges on the way.
There were 3 teams in that region that deserved first-round buys.
Exactly.
And only 2 could get them.
Now it's time for Hoopsville.
Great show. Keep this up. This is a good thing for D3, and I will enjoy listening to the rest of the show.
Let's get it started in here. Everybody, let's get into it. Get stoked, get it started, get it started, get it started. Let's get it started.
Here's your host, Dave McHugh.
Oh, that's right, folks. We are on the air for another week of Hoopsville here. I am your host, Dave D-Mac, the Homer McHugh. I hope you all are enjoying yourselves as we get ready for the Final Four. It's kind of hard to believe, to be honest with you. We're already at the Final Fours for the men and women's basketball programs in Division III. Of course, the D1 just announced their brackets, and man, they can't even get those right. There's some problems in the D1s. Anyway, I'm your host, Dave McHugh, broadcasting thanks to the National Association of Basketball Coaches and, of course, D3Hoops.com. If you have any questions for us, email us at hoopsville@D3Hoops.com. You can IM us at Hoopsville2000 on your AOL IM, or join us in the chat room as well. Of course, there's also Twitter, D3Hoopsville. We got that on that computer and some other things on other computers, and we'll try and get to the bottom of a lot of stuff that is going on throughout the time. Congratulations to the ODAC. What the NCAA set up to have happened, at least for the ODAC. Didn't happen for the WIAC. The ODAC getting 2 teams into the Final Four. Pretty impressive, to say the least. Of course, on the UAA side, on the women's side, as those in the chat room are pointing out, they got a chance to see 2 teams there. Rochester and WashU, and I believe they're on the opposite sides of the bracket as well. So, fascinating Final Fours up ahead of us on Friday and Saturday from Salem on the men's side and Illinois Wesleyan on the women's side. And tonight we're going to talk to only players. A little bit different tonight. We're going to talk to only players from teams that have made it to the Final Four, and we'll start it off in a few minutes with Jamie McFarland of the WashU Bears. We'll also talk to Amherst, number 1. We'll talk to a player from them, Randolph Macon as well. And, of course, Williams, by the way, the Justin's Award winner from Williams, will be joining us on the line tonight. You'll also hear from Bob Quillman and Gordon Mann. Gordon, who was out at Illinois Wesleyan this past weekend, and will be back out there next weekend as well. My predictions for the men's Final Four. Man, I haven't even had time to simmer that one down. I am proud to say I got 3 out of the 4 teams correct, and if I had been using my brain a little bit, I would have gotten all 4. I got nervous about Randolph Macon and predicted William Patterson. As we all know, lost on a last-second shot on the opening round. So while we won't get William Patterson, I got the other 3 in there. My bracket indicates it is Guilford versus Stevens Point for the championship. I think I might change that, though, personally, after watching a little bit of Randolph Macon and Williams, too. I'm not saying I'm changing the picks, but I think it's going to be a heck of a competitive Final Four. I think a year ago, and no disrespect to the teams, Guilford, Franklin Marshall, Richard Stockton, and WashU, they all worked their ways to the Final Fours, but I think it ended up disappointing people because their roads were very different, and maybe we didn't get the best 4 there. And you know, Richard Stockton had a relatively easy way. Franklin and Marshall certainly didn't have it as easy, but it wasn't hard either. WashU certainly went through the so-called bracket of death, and Guilford earned their way there. This year, I think all 4 teams earned their way there in some capacity, and I think it's going to be pretty good on the men's side. As far as the women, how about the upset of Kane by Rochester? That's pretty impressive. We're actually going to talk to J.C. DeLass about that. We haven't talked to him all season long. We're going to talk to J.C. about the incredible efforts of his women's Yellow Jackets team that he covers, I should say, on the radio. J.C. told me off air if he were to predict a team that would get to the Final Four, this wasn't it. But we'll talk to them certainly there. And we're also going to talk the other teams. I'm sorry. Hats off to WashU, knocking off the defending champs. Not overly surprised with that. Amherst getting there, not overly surprised by that, but certainly surprised they almost lost it on Friday night against Williams. And then certainly congratulations extend to, who's the other team? Lower right-hand corner, sitting right there. Hope, who certainly earned their way back there, thanks in part to a Stevens Point win over Illinois Wesleyan, but they got past Stevens Point as well, so Hope returns as well. One fan's got Randolph Macon over Williams in the championship. Yes, Randolph Macon's the only team to beat Williams this year, but let's remember something here. Williams, I don't think, was playing as good then as they are playing now. I'm not going to take anything away from Randolph Macon. That being said, Williams is going to have to figure out how to get past Guilford. Did anyone see Tyler Sanborn's line from Friday night? 21 points and 23 rebounds. It's been strong numbers. That's ridiculous. That's pretty impressive. And then on top of that, if you look at their scoring in Bonner and Henson, you can't double-team Tyler. Because if you double-team Tyler, somebody from the outside is going to make you pay for it. And I don't know if Williams has the option to beat that. Could be wrong, but I don't know if Williams can get past Guilford. That being said, it's a Final Four and anything's possible. And, of course, that means Randolph Macon getting past Stevens Point, and that actually wouldn't surprise me. But, it all depends on which team show up. I think this is going to be a hell of a competitive Final Four in Salem. If you got any questions for us, email us at hoopsville@d3hoops.com. That's hoopsville@d3hoops.com. You can also IM us at hoopsville2000 on your AOL IM, or join us in the chat room. Eric Pugh will be joining us at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock, from Randolph Macon. We will chat with him. He had a heck of a night last night. I believe it was 23 points off the top of my head in a huge game for Randolph Macon to get past Franklin and Marshall, who's trying to make a return trip to the Final Four. WashU held Sanborn at 11 points. Yes, I'm not saying it can't be done. But what was Henson and Bonner's numbers? That's my point. If you double team down on Sanborn, in my opinion, and you open up the option of either Bonner or Henson hurting you. And that's where I think their advantage is. I'm not saying they can't be stopped, and I'm not saying they can't be beat. It's been proven. Eastern Mennonite beat them earlier this season. I'm not saying that can't happen. What I'm saying is, see, Henson had 23. My point is, can they do it all game long in a big game that is the semifinals? So we'll see what happens. McHugh, by the way, terrific game last night. Hit a lot of big shots, and a lot of good ways and bad ways. But he hit a lot of big shots at big times against Franklin and Marshall at St. Mary's. By the way, Franklin and Marshall taking out the Seahawks in a tough game. Hot, humid, delays because of water on the court, because of all the humidity in the gym. Major rainstorm in the area didn't help. So, impressive Franklin and Marshall effort, to say the least, to get to where they were against St. Mary's and win.